What happens to our immune systems and our brains when we get stressed? It turns out some not so good things. Do your symptoms flare or get worse when you get stressed? Mine too. In today's video, I'm going to share information on stress, how it can affect our immune systems and our brains, and some simple tips that we can implement into our daily lives to help reduce stress. Hello, my dear friends, and welcome. I've been looking forward to today's topic because we've all been under a lot of stress the past few years for numerous reasons. Am I right? We've all felt stress in one form or another, whether it's from the pandemic, politics, crazy weather, inflation, our health, or other more personal reasons. So let's start with what stress is and what happens when we get stressed. According to the World Health Organization, stress can be defined as any type of change that causes physical, emotional, or psychological strain. Stress is the body's response to anything that requires attention or action. When we get stressed, our bodies produce a hormone called cortisol. It's part of the fight or flight response. In short bursts, cortisol can be very helpful. It can boost our immunity and limit inflammation, and it can help us complete tasks such as public speaking, meeting a work deadline, or getting out of a dangerous situation. But long-term exposure to cortisol can have the opposite effect and cause more inflammation, chronic inflammation. And we all know that MS is an inflammatory disease, so we need to limit inflammation if we can, right? Chronic stress also lowers our lymphocytes, our white blood cells, that help us to fight off infections. And high levels of stress are associated with depression and anxiety. Research shows that approximately 50% of people with MS also have depression or anxiety, so let's not add to that. And people who are under a lot of stress report symptoms of fatigue, insomnia, headaches, and cognitive or memory problems. Stress can cause chronic inflammation, lower our ability to fight off infections, and is associated with depression, anxiety, fatigue, insomnia, headaches, and cognitive problems. Yes, it can contribute to worsening of some of our MS symptoms. We definitely need to look into ways to manage or lower our stress. And did you know that stress can cause our brains to shrink faster? What the heck? Our brains already shrink faster than that of the general public due to our MS. The last thing we need is more shrinkage from the effects of stress. In this recent article from Henry Ford Health, they state that chronic stress can shrink the amygdala. That's the area of the brain that's responsible for processing emotions, which can lead to depression and anxiety. And not just that, but cortisol is toxic to the hippocampus, the area of the brain that's responsible for memory function. Well, that's not good. We had better stop being stressed. But that can be a challenge because just being diagnosed and living with MS can be incredibly stressful. Many people are diagnosed when they're relatively young, perhaps when they're in school or starting their careers or starting their families. And living with the fear of the future and what might happen is stressful too. Not to mention living with symptoms that are always there or could pop up or intensify at any time. Can any of you relate? Let me know in the comments below. There are also some studies that suggest stress and how we handle it could contribute to how many lesions we get. In this study, they found that those that had negative stressful events had more gadolinium-enhancing lesions than those that had positive stressful events. We all have stress, but those that are able to look at these events in a positive light were less likely to get more or enlarging lesions. When we have stressful events, we do better if we can look at them and try to pull something positive from them. Yes, that really stunk that happened, but I learned from it, and what I learned will help me in the future. See how changing our perspective can help? I have talked about changing our perspective before in other videos. As an example, when we have well-meaning family and friends or even strangers that offer us unsolicited advice, it can be stressful, but if we can shift our perspective and try to receive it in a way that the people intended it, because most people have good intentions, it makes it easier to take. If you want to see my full video on unsolicited advice, see the link above and in the description below. In this randomized trial, they found that people with active MS that were in stress management therapy had a reduction of gadolinium-enhancing lesions while they were in treatment versus the control group. This is great news. Adding therapy can possibly help reduce lesions. And there's more good news. We can improve our symptoms, protect our beautiful brains, and possibly reverse brain shrinkage by reducing our stress. Here are 10 easy to implement tips that may help reduce your stress. Number 1, get enough sleep. Getting more sleep helps us to manage our stress by giving our bodies time to flush out and reduce the stress hormones. Number 2, be mindful. Try being in the moment. For example, be mindful while eating. Take a moment to look at your meal before eating it and then notice each bite as you take it. Or by being mindful on a walk. Notice the trees, the birds, the sound. Try to be in whatever moment you are. Be present. Number 3, exercise. Exercise will increase the feel-good hormones like endorphins, and it also reduces the fight or flight response. Whatever exercise you like, walk, swim, dance, do yoga. Yoga is particularly helpful because it stretches all parts of the body and helps us release stress that we're holding in our tissues. Number 4, do things that we like. It sounds simple, but engaging in fun things that we like will reduce our stress hormones. Talk with a friend, read a book, watch a funny movie, go dancing, or go out to lunch or dinner. Participating in enjoyable experiences naturally lowers stress. I encourage you to schedule some fun things on your calendar. Number 5, say no. I've said it before and I'll say it again. No is a complete sentence and a sacred word. Saying no to things and activities that stress us will improve our quality of life. Consider it a kindness towards yourself. Number 6, practice relaxation techniques. One of my favorite techniques is the double inhale breath when I'm stressed. It goes like this. Take a deep inhale through our nose and then take an extra sip of breath and then let it out through the mouth. This switches our central nervous system from sympathetic, alert and stressed, to parasympathetic, calm. Another technique is the square breath, where we inhale, hold, exhale, and hold. Envision it like a box, like this. Number 7, be social. Having a supportive network of friends or family to be with is an important part of the human experience. We are wired to make connections with other people. Just make sure that they are good and inspiring people. No Captain Bring Me Downs or negative Nellies allowed. Number 8, talk with a therapist. Taking care of our mental health is just as important as taking care of our physical health. I've been working with my therapist regularly since diagnosis. Having someone objective to talk to who's trained in mental health is incredibly helpful. Number 9, letting go of what we can't control. Acceptance is another key to managing stress. Adopting an attitude of, it is what it is, and changing our perspective. Instead of looking at situations as stressful, try looking at them as opportunities to change for the better. Number 10, get outside. Getting in nature naturally reduces our stress hormones. Think back to when you were in school and went outside to play at recess. Do you remember how great it felt after being outside? Or think of the last time you walked in the woods. Didn't you feel better at the end of the walk? Bonus tip, get a pet or borrow a pet. Having pets naturally helps us to be less stressed. This past year, we lost all 3 of our pets. And in addition to being stressful, our family was grieving. To help us with this, we borrow pets from family and friends. We help them out when they're traveling by inviting their pets to come stay with us. It's awesome, and it's a great way to get a puppy or a kitty fix. I think we're almost ready to get a new dog, perhaps this spring. Do you think I should get a new dog? Let me know in the comments below. And if you have pets, let me know what kinds of pets you have and how they help you with your stress. What tips do you have to share on living well with MS? Let me know in the comments below. I love learning from my viewers and the things you're doing to help yourselves live well with MS. Stress is a normal part of life. We all experience it, especially modern life. Becoming stressed does not mean that we're weak or that we're failing. It means that we're human. Learning to manage stress may help us manage our MS symptoms and definitely live healthier lives. To see more on living well with MS, watch this video or this one next. Thank you so much for joining me today. Make sure you like the video, subscribe, and share these videos too. Until next time, be well.